That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
When I was young, I could never understand why bad things happen. All along, taking the good things for granted. Through wisdom, I learned to never ever give up, always be proud, and always be yourself. My name is Scott. I'm a participant in a study at the University of Chicago to help people with spinal cord injuries. The researchers at UChicago use a technology they use a device it's called brain-computer interface technology. To enhance their research, they collaborate with the University of Pittsburgh and the Northwestern University, The goal of this study is to restore motor control and sensation to people with spinal cord injuries who have lost function of a hand or limb. Now, the hope is to restore independence. Now, for just a moment, if you could please close your eyes. And I need you to imagine, I really need you to believe in yourselves. Could you imagine controlling a robotic arm and hand merely by thinking about it? Okay, now open your eyes and look at me. This is what I get to do 3 days a week. Oh, by the way, this robotic hand has sensory feedback, which allows me to feel your hand in mine when we grasp one another shaking hands. Moreover, this feedback helps me sense the correct force needed to pick up an object with the robotic hand. Now, all of this is only possible because of BCI, or the brain-computer interface technology at UChicago. Now, commitment and willingness to make sacrifices is most important. Are you wondering why I decided to have invasive brain surgery? Or why I chose to have 4 electrodes implanted on my brain? Or why I decided to be a participant in scientific study? Back in 1985, I was in a car accident that would forever change my life. I was 22 and I broke my neck. 5 days later, I woke up laying in the hospital bed. A doctor came in to tell me about my injuries. He told me I was a quadriplegic. He said I would never again walk or use my hands. I didn't believe him. I had different ideas. I was going to prove him wrong. Life lessons are created by circumstances that are beyond our control. Lessons that can teach us to never, ever give up. Now, back in 1985, I was blessed. Having my family, girlfriend, friends, and the best medical team I could ask for. They kept me strong. They kept me determined. They gave me hope. None of this was easy, but that didn't stop me. Being pig-headed was a great tool to have, along with a lot of self-determination. This too kept me strong. Believing in myself reinforced the belief that anything was possible as long as I refused to give up. Today, I am forever blessed. So my first real accomplishment after breaking my neck and being a quad, I was laying there in the hospital bed trying to change the channel on the TV. Now, mind you, the nurses were constantly offering to change the channel for me, and as usual, I'd refuse their help. I just need to figure out how to do this for myself. So first I started by I was able to pull my arms to my chest. And this helped keep me warm. And then I fought really hard to pull my knees and my legs towards my waist. And then I figured out how to start wiggling my toes and point my toes on my left foot towards my head. Then I figured out how to reach up for the TV channel, the dial, and I did it. I changed the channel. I started hitting the call button. Nurse, nurse, nurse. She runs in. She's like, what, Scott? What's going on? What happened? I did it. I changed the channel. I told you I could do it. This was the day I knew I'd be walking out of this place before too long. You know, I tried really hard to consistently try to do everything for myself. I didn't want to ask for any help from anyone. And you know, you're laying in a bed, so it's kind of hard to do many things, but it was just trying anything to make life better for myself. Changing that channel was a life-changing accomplishment. Soon after, I was put into a halo. I transferred to the RIC, which is the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. I began my therapy. I made new friends. My one new friend, Dave, he was also a quadriplegic. We'd wheel all over the place at RIC. Our favorite thing to do was to race up and down the halls in our wheelchairs. We would both convince a nurse to sit in our laps while we were having these races. Boy, was that fun. We laughed all the way down the hall. Another great adventure. RIC staff used to let me, after I finished therapy each day, they used to let me go outside and wheel around all over the place in Chicago. Now, mind you, I was all by myself. I was in a wheelchair, and I was wearing a halo. How is this possible? You know, there's no way they would let this happen today. You know, I was rehabbing at a institution for care, and they allowed me to do this. It was crazy. So it was this taught me to live life to the fullest and to be definitely grateful. One day, after I finished my therapy, realization set in. I was sitting in my wheelchair. I was on the 7th floor, looking out the window at RIC. I was looking at Lake Michigan. It was a beautiful sight. For the first time since my accident happened, I started to cry about my situation. I thought to myself, why do bad things happen? What if I end up in this wheelchair for the rest of my life? Screw it. I'm just going to figure out a new way to do everything I love. And it was at this very moment that I decided I will not be a victim. I will never, ever be a victim. You see, we all have our own struggles. We all must learn to overcome many things in life. I'm not the worst off or any better. I'm just different now. I'm definitely just different now. And we all have the ability to outsmart anything life throws in our path, as long as we're willing. So, in the end, for every bad thing that happens, something better always comes along, if we just open our eyes to see it. Today, my part in life is changing life for many, many people. In the US, there are 180,000 people with tetraplegia. There's 58,000 people with major arm amputations. Being part of this study is the good that came from the bad of my past. I'm making history because I broke my neck in 1985. I wonder, could this be why? Could this be why I broke my neck? Okay, I have a fun fact for you guys. Enough of the sob stories. This is my friend Jan. She's one of the first BCI pioneers. Back in 2012, she was a participant in the study with the University of Pittsburgh. One day I was on the phone with her, and I was asking her why she became a participant. And she told me, we were talking for a while, she's a wonderful lady. And then all of a sudden she says to me, she says, Scott, do you realize more people qualify to go into outer space than qualify for this study? Wow, that's an interesting fact. So I looked it up. 670 people have flown into outer space. 70 people have electrodes implanted on their brains for things like speech, vision, and motor control. There's only 10 of us that have both motor control with sensory feedback. I am one of these 10 people. So remember, for every single piece of bad news, there's good news waiting if you just open your eyes to see it. So this journey I'm on is only possible because of a lot of hard work. It's the hard work of many people, students, teachers, professors, scientists, doctors. They all collaborated to make this journey possible. Engineers, product developers, programmers, journeymen were needed to create hardware and software. Animals, animal researchers, and animal caretakers are needed to test these products and the procedures. And finally, the human participants. We may help provide the final proof that all things are possible. Now, the brain-computer interface study was funded through the Department of Defense back in 2005. The goal was to help veterans of war, for the men and women coming home after defending our freedoms. Some veterans come home missing a hand, a limb, maybe even being a quadriplegic. If you were one of these people, would you hope BCI technology gave you hope? Should this technology allow you the possibility to live a passion-filled, positive life? Using BCI technology, I got to shake Scott Pelley's hand. I used this robotic arm and this hand. The picture is captured from 60 Minutes. The episode is called Feeling the Feeling. No, I believe most of us humans strive to be independent and self-sufficient. Imagine being a quadriplegic, having little or no ability to fend for yourself. Would you continue to feel human, or would you give up? Creating independence is the hope and the reason I joined this study. Now I need you to dream big. This is how ideas are made, creations are built, and lives are saved. Dreaming big is how I became a participant. I am blessed. I don't consider myself handicapped. I was told I would never walk again back in 1985. I found a way to give these blessings back. Because of this study, I am able to help many people. Now, studies like this present the user, the users of this technology, the opportunity to operate a computer using simple 2D control. On the screen, I am operating a virtual mouse, using only the thoughts in my brain. Many tasks in life are controlled simply by using phones and computers. Using BCI technology creates an opportunity and a purpose for people with limitations, and it instills a renewed belief, making their world full of limitless opportunities and independence. So always dream big, while creating the best products, don't be afraid to start out and keep it simple. This will allow your product to improve, and it will evolve. It always does. Products evolve all by themselves all the time. Look at your iPhone. Using basic principles like 2D mouse control gives us the building blocks to create something complex as human-like control of a robotic arm. And finally, having knowledge and words to live by. So a pop culture icon, Ellie Woods from the movie Legally Blonde said, "In life, we must have passion. It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that brings success. Always have faith in people and always have faith in yourself." Thank you, TEDx, and thanks to all of you.